At Quahog Honda and Subarus, we got Hondas and Subarus.
This video is sponsored by Reese Production.
Hey young world, I am Reese, the beautiful black beast of the Southeast. Joined again with my brother
Marvin, the Slytherin Quidditch team captain.
And this is another edition of Reese and Marvin Reviews for you. Alright, the topic of conversation today is Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Godzilla!
It's Godzilla! It looks like Godzilla, but due to international copyright laws, it's not.
Godzilla! And so what did I think about Godzilla, the King of Monsters? I enjoyed it. It was very reminiscent of the old school school versions of Godzilla back in the day. And it was, I think they did a wonderful job of, translating that old kaiju type of style of movies to modern 2019 times.
Yeah, gone are the days of the rubber costumes and phony sets. Here we are, 2019, huge special effects, and it was clearly a special effects driven movie, and it worked. It worked perfectly. You got to see what you wanted. You got to see Godzilla. You got to see quite a few monsters, and you got to see them doing their best destroying.
Some of these human to titans type comparison, it just looked more realistic in this movie. So I thought the production was really top notch.
Absolutely. Whoever was in charge of special effects, like I said, they got the proportions correct. It really seems like they Titans just mashing on set. You seem just like the old school ones. I mean, it seems like the humans are just ants, and these are huge. I mean, they refer to them as Titans and gods. They're just that huge, and the city's just a playground to them.
So they had the Godzilla movie back in 2014. So I guess this is a sequel to it, but is it really the sequel? They were planning on making this monster movie where they were going to mash up all the monsters together. And they made note of it in the King Kong movie that came out, what was that, 2 years ago? And
a few years ago, Skull Island.
Skull Island. And then they even made reference to Skull Island in this movie.
They did.
But no King Kong, which I was disappointed about, because all movie, I was just sitting there, I was like, damn, when is King Kong about to pop out of this mug? He never did. Yeah,
that's what I did like about the movie. They made mention of several other Titans. They said that there were 17 behemoths. They showed a few, but they didn't show the ones you really want. I'm thinking the same thing. At some point, I think they're saving that for another movie, which is King Kong versus Godzilla, whatever the title may be. But I thought we might at least see an appearance of them, but we didn't. But they did show, like, I think big woolly mammoth or something like that, and they showed the Mothra. Yeah, Mothra, and I don't even know what the name was of this.
King Ghidorah.
Render unto Ghidorah what is Ghidra's. 10 to 1 he sees you through a beaker and a tweezers. Read the fine print and be like, what's the big deal? Spun wheels are still since broke wheels.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. It was like the three-headed. It was a Hydra, and he was badass. He was all on screen. Every one of them when they was on screen, they was tearing stuff up.
The reason I know I'm so familiar with King Ghidorah is obviously when I was a kid, I used to love those old Japanese kaiju movies. They were dope. But now my favorite rapper, MF Doom, his alter ego is King Ghidorah, which is, it was so cool. So when I saw him in this movie, I'm so geeked out, like on different levels. All the interactions with King Ghidorah, it was like just massive. He was like a total badass, like, and it was so enjoyable. Like Godzilla is like shooting fire breath, and King Ghidorah is shooting lasers out. I mean lightning through his mouth, and which I thought was cool. That's one of my theories as to why King Kong wasn't in this movie, because it's supposed to be King of Monsters, and then usually in the King Kong movies he's kind of looked at as one of the good guys. You have these guys who think he's evil or whatever, but by the end of the movie, most of the fans go away thinking that he's one of the good guys. Same thing as Godzilla. So in this movie is King of the Monsters. So it was a movie about alphas fighting alphas. King Ghidorah was Godzilla's main nemesis in this movie. So I believe that you would have had Godzilla, who is going after the king. He's trying to be the king. You got King Kong, which King is in his name, and King Ghidorah, which King is his name. I don't think they wanted to put those two good guys against each other, King Kong and Godzilla.
Right.
So I think that's why they left them out. But it was still kind of odd because at the end of Skull Island, they had
King Kong.
They showed King Kong, and they showed a cave where they were alluding to there were all these other kaijus on there. And Ghidorah was one of the kaijus that was on the caveman's painting on the wall. So that's why I was like, man, I thought King Kong was a shoo-in to make this movie.
Yeah, exactly. They also did the same reference in this movie where it was like an underwater city that they ended up coming to. I think it was like Atlantis or whatever. They had the same thing, the hieroglyphics on the cage, like, oh, this is, they help build the world, or they, protect the world, and they've been here for all these years. So they try to link these movies, just subtly.
What Marvel has done with breaking records with using the synergy of all these characters coming together to be in the same movie. Everybody's trying to imitate that. So now they're doing it with everything. They're doing it, and it just now it's spilled over to the kaiju films. So now they want to put different monsters, behemoths or titans of monsters together, which I'm fine with. And another one I was looking for, there's this turtle.
Yeah, he wasn't on there, man. I remember you saying that during the movie, like, yo, where the turtle at? Where the turtle at? I'm like, oh, you're gonna come up. They're saying, they keep referencing, oh, it's 17 of them, it's 17 of them. You didn't see all 17.
No, you didn't.
Maybe in another movie.
Maybe in the
the turtle man. Oh man, I was looking forward to the turtle too.
Yeah, he puts his limbs back in the shell, and then the flames come out that propel him around. He starts spinning, and then he flies like that. And that was one of my favorite kaijus from those old school movies, and he was sorely missed as far as I'm concerned. I wanted to see him, and I missed him, and I was disappointed in that. But yeah, maybe in the next movie, depending on how much money this one makes, I guess we might see him in the next one.
The plot, the company Monarch, they keep an eye on these titans, and what happened is, the government wanted to destroy them, but the Monarch company believed they're there for nature and they're here to protect the earth, so they're keeping a surveillance over them, and they're trying to watch and protect them. Of course, until the bad guy comes along. Bad guy, maybe, or maybe he's a good guy. They want to, eventually his plan, when you first find out, you just know they trying to free them all. They're taking over this device that they learn to communicate with the Titans with. And initially you think they're just bad because they come in, they killing all the scientists, they kidnapping the lady. But ultimately, the guy behind it, all he wants to do is free them all and return the Earth back to its natural state. They feel like man has destroyed it with the pollution and the overpopulation. And they believe that these Titans are here to cleanse the Earth and bring it back to normal. So that's where you're going with the plot. So they're springing them, and it's all hell breaking loose. They tearing stuff up. They fighting each other. The three-headed one, he seems to be the alpha of alphas, and and that's where you're going. You're on a little joyride of just fighting around the Earth, which you get to see all these different set pieces, these different cities, and it's a pretty awesome ride.
I agree. But this to be a soft sequel is kind of crazy because the 2014 version starring Bryan Cranston, to me, it didn't even measure up to this one. This one was light years ahead of it. It was way better in my opinion. The 2014 version of Godzilla, it was meh, so-so. It was an okay movie, but this one was, I think they got it down. They got it down packed on this one.
I didn't really care about the 2014 version. They made it too much of a human story more than, this one seems to focus more on the Titans themselves. I mean, yeah, you got this one particular company that, this branch of military that seems to be following Godzilla out, and they're trying to help him. They touch bases on the human. They got to have that underlying human story to kind of plot. But they mostly focusing on Godzilla and the Titans, and that's what I think everybody really wants to see.
That's actually an excellent point. So for this movie to focus so much on Godzilla and his band of misfits, they had a cast of big name actors in it, which I was really impressed by. Names like the chick who played in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Seas Owl.
I didn't even know that was up. Wow. I guess because she had her hair was cut and it was short.
Yeah.
So I didn't even recognize it.
The biggest thing is why you wouldn't recognize it, because I guess after all these years she finally learned some English, so that was cool.
Good point. Yeah, Ken Watanabe. the guy from the previous film, the Godzilla.
Oh yeah, yeah, he sure was in Inception and
Yeah, right.
and stuff.
Yeah, you know.
O'Shea Jackson Jr.
There we go.
Ice Cube's son. So he had a pretty significant role in there.
Vera from Formiga?
That is, yeah, that's a.
Yeah, she was like the scientist or whatever. I only know her because I loved her in that movie 15 Minutes. That was like one of the first movies I seen her.
Oh, she was in it?
Yeah, man.
She
She was like the red. Yeah, I know. She was like the redhead chick who really, you know, whatever, man. Different movie.
She looking like a MILF in a finesse. They had your boy Bradley Whitford. He was the father in Us.
He was?
Not Us. He was the father in Get Out.
The white guy?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
He was the comic relief in this one. The one of the scientists. He always had something. He wasn't like a douche about it, but he just always had something slick and say. The thing is, like it looked like he gained a little. He cut off the beard from Get Out. He gained a little weight. He had a little fatter face, but that was him,
right.
The father from Get Out.
Now you had the little girl. I don't even know her real name, but she in Stranger Things. I believe she played. What's her name? 11 in Stranger Things. 11
in Stranger Things. Her real name is Bobby Brown Millie.
You know what? I saw that name on the screen. I was like, Bobby Brown. I'm thinking that's a black person. As soon as I seen Bobby Brown, I swear, yo. As soon as I saw Bobby Brown, all right, their parents grew up in the '80s. But anywho, yeah, and she had a significant role in it. She did an amazing job. She did an amazing job.
Oh, that little girl is on point, man.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna be seeing her acting for years to come. I assure you that. And we're gonna see my nephew causing a ruckus for years to come.
Years to come. Just getting warmed up.
You got Kyle Chandler. He had a significant role in the Friday Night Lights TV series.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, he actually played in the 2005 version of King Kong with Jack Black.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess he's no stranger to kaiju movies. So.
That guy from the Verizon phone commercials.
Oh, is that where he?
Yeah. I think he was in some sitcom or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, that was him.
His name is something like Thomas Middlechick.
I'm sorry if I don't know all these people's names.
Yeah, Charlie Dance. He's actually a Lannister, the Lannister senior.
Yeah, right. Tywin Lannister. Well, most people know him as Big Brother Noopsy from Golden Child.
That's where I knew him best from, Big Brother Noopsy. Yeah, he's supposedly supposed to be the antagonist, but
right.
There were bigger antagonists. I guess you could say King Ghidorah was the #1 antagonist, if you want to call him that.
That's true.
The cast was phenomenal. You know what? One thing I didn't like about it, Kyle Chandler, the father in the movie, he was a scientist or whatever, but I thought some of his stuff was just exaggerated, and you had these typical big budget movie one-liners and stuff. I'm like, I know the guy's a good actor. I've seen him he's nothing phenomenal, but I've seen him do a good job in other things. And I don't think he did a horrible job in this, but it was just, he was kind of corny, man. His lines, his acting, it was just kind of corny in this to me.
There was a few areas where I felt it was kind of corny, and the lines weren't so great. The dialogue, rather, wasn't so great. And even points of the plot, you know, especially with the main device that they're using to carry on the movie. I'm like, that's kind of cheesy. How many times are we going to be, humans are destroying the earth. We need to make it back to nature. You know, it need to come back to its original state. We're overpopulated. It seems that that's a theme in a lot of movies. Boy. So it seems like when they make these movies, I don't know what writers they have, they seem to, everybody want to jump on the same thing. Hey, please, let's diversify, okay? Please. Just a tad bit. Switch it up.
Just a tad bit. I mean, don't underestimate your audience. We can deal with some complexities. We don't want to keep seeing the same thing over and over again. Yeah, you're letting these special effects bail you out, and you know, it don't have to be that way. How about a little complexity in your story, something original, along with the special effects? I guarantee you'll have a hit.
Which the special effects was amazing.
The special effects were dope.
I can't say that enough. Every single fight scene, every bit of destruction, every debris, every bit of carnage, it was amazing. So I highly recommend, if anybody out there want to see this, if you can, I mean, we cheap, so we saw the standard version. But if you want to see it in 3D, I highly recommend it. I mean, Adobe Sound, do whatever you can do. IMAX, I'm telling you, that's the only way to watch it.
Agreed. it's an enjoyable movie. So I suggest it. I think you should all go out and see Godzilla King of the Monsters. One of the better movies I've seen this year. And there's been some good movies out this year, but this is one of the better ones.
For sure. Godzilla.
All right, so I guess that wraps up another compelling episode of Reese and Marvin Reviews. Don't let your distractions hinder your actions.
Yo.